Wednesday morning, Kennedy Dragons. Today is Wednesday. It's December 15th. It's the 84th day of school. I'm Mr. Butcher, and it's my job to keep you guys safe so that you guys can show us how excellent you can be. Hopefully, you've left your average at home or on the bus, and you are ready, which means being in the right place at the right time and the right stuff, to have a respectful, treating others the way you want to be treated, and responsible, doing your job with a smile on your face and giving perfect day. Speaking of responsibilities, one of our first responsibilities is to be ready to show respect for the rights that we have in this country and at our school. We do this by daily saying the Pledge of Allegiance, our school pledge, and doing a moment of silence. When we do the pledge, we want to stop what we're doing, stand up tall, put our hand over our hearts like this. We want to say the pledge loudly, clearly, and with pride. If you guys would please stand for the pledge and remain standing for our Kennedy School Pledge and our moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Kennedy School Pledge. I pledge myself as a Kennedy Dragon to be ready for the day ahead of me. I will be respectful of myself, my teachers, and all others I meet throughout the day. I promise to be responsible for myself, my actions, and my learning. I'll work my hardest to be the best dragon I can be. Please take a moment to reflect silently on our day, our activities, and what we hope to accomplish. Another responsibility that we have each day is to help keep each other safe by slowing down the spread of germs. We can do this by frequently washing our hands throughout the day. Frequently means more than once. And when we wash our hands, we want to use soap and water if we can get to soap and water. If we can't get to soap and water, an alcohol-based hand sanitizer will work, but soap and water is always better. When we wash our hands, we want to make sure we're getting all parts of our hands, the palms of our hands, the backs of our hands, in between our fingers, our fingertips, our wrists, and our thumb. When we wash our hands, we want to make sure that we are doing it for at least 20 seconds. Let's model what that looks like now. Get yourself your hand sanitizer or your soap and water. Let's do the palms of our hands. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the back of your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the back of your other hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get in between your fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your fingertips. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your other set of fingertips. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your thumb. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your other thumb. 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your wrist. 2, 3, 4, 5. And your other wrist. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now your hand should be nice and full. Once we have done our pledges, our moment of silence, we've done our hand washing, it is time to show respect for those that have birthdays today. Happy birthday to Lucy Ridling, who's 7, and Donna Rodriguez, who is also 7. We'll make sure you guys get your birthday. All right, next responsibility we have in the morning is to make our lunch choice. For today's lunch, cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato, and pickle, shoestring fries, and fruit slushy. If you do not want cheeseburger, you can always get PB&J or the yogurt and muffin. Make your lunch choice now, please. All right, it's time for Picture of the Week. Here's our picture for this week. Yesterday, we asked you for nouns, persons, places, things, those things that you can see, feel, or touch. Here, we saw husky, wolves, boots, gates, logs, clocks, branches, soil, chains. Miss Ballard had Jake ran as fast as a bolt of lightning. Wow, simile. To get away from a pack of huskies. He jumped on the log gate and began climbing over towards the clock. He was cornered. Mr. McCoy had the dogs are watching intently as the man is making a fool of himself. We wonder what in the world he's doing. Miss Kinney had the man is tumbling over the gate because he's scared of the dogs. They also had 2 dogs are leaning on each other, and the huskies are walking towards and sniffing the man. And then Miss Ham said, One morning in Alaska, Bob walked out of his back door to check on the cows in his barn. He noticed that the fence around his huskies was loose. Out of the corner of his eyes, he saw the huskies bolt towards him. Interesting to see what's going to happen next. So today we're looking for verbs, words that show action. This is a still picture, so you're going to have to come up with ideas. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think happened, and why do you think it's happening? Give us those details. So come up with some action words today. All right, time to show you how we put our mask on if you're having to use it, like having to wear it, like when you go on the bus, because the bus you got to cover your mouth, or if you've had you cover your face, or if you've had a COVID exposure in your classes, make sure we're putting it on over our nose, over our mouth and our chin. Make sure it doesn't fall down. You guys have a great day. That is all we have for announcements, so please help me.
Me and your teachers keep you safe. That is our job.
And your job is to help us keep you safe.
And you can help us by being a ready, respectful, and responsible student who is focused on graduating in the year.
Because when you are a ready, respectful, and responsible student focused on graduation, you are fully committed to student success. I love you very much. Have a great day. Day 10 of our 15 days of crazy holiday books and STEAM activities is Elfie the Elf. The author is Cheryl de Vleeschouwer, and that means the author is the person that wrote the words. And the illustrator is Christian Gatton, and that means they are the one that drew the pictures. This book's kind of long today, so I'm going to get going with it, but I'll try to model what good readers do. And if you try to model what good or practice what good readers do when you're reading a fiction book. Elfie the Elf. Time for bed, children. It's almost 9 o'clock, and I promised your parents you would both be in bed before they got home. Granny announced as she slowly lifted herself out of her rocking chair. Oh, Granny, we're not that tired yet. It's too early, stretched Rosie, as she quickly covered her mouth, mimicking a bedtime yawn. Yeah, Granny, tell us a bedtime story. Tell us about one of your adventures that happened long, long ago, pleaded James as he tugged on the fuzzy blue sweater. Well, children, I have one adventure that I've never shared with another soul. A very long time ago, I made a promise to a very special friend of mine, and I'm not sure you can keep the secret, said Granny with a twinkle in her eye. Oh, yes, we can, Granny. I know we can, begged Rosie. Let's go upstairs, and perhaps I'll let you in on a very secretive adventure, Granny whispered as they all made their way upstairs and sat down by James's bed. We got characters, Grandma, Rosie, and James. A very long time ago, I was just a little girl. My father was stationed to work at the North Pole. I was very unhappy about moving away and leaving my friends behind. When we arrived at the North Pole, I couldn't believe how high the snowdrifts were and how cold it was. But the worst part was that I didn't have anyone to play with. Many nights I cried myself to sleep. I wish I could go back home, but I knew that was impossible. Christmas was getting closer, and I didn't think Santa Claus would even know where to find me. So the beginning of Grandma's adventure was that they moved near the North Pole. She was very sad because she didn't have any friends. One night, I thought I heard a strange noise outside of my bedroom window. It sounded like a very tiny squeaking mouse. Quickly, I jumped out of my bed and ran to look out my window. There in the snowbank, I saw a tiny blue elf crying. Oh, Granny, what did you do? Was he really blue? Did he talk to you or did he run away? Asked Rosie. Shh, be quiet, Rosie. Let Granny finish the story, snapped James, who sat perfectly still, hanging on every word of Granny spoke. So she saw a blue elf outside crying. Rosie's very excited, and James wants to hear what happens. All right, James, I'll continue. I climbed out of my window and very cautiously made my way to see this unusual little blue elf. He was so tiny, no higher than my knee, and he had pointy ears and a very red nose. He was dressed in a blue fuzzy jacket and matching pants, and his face was really blue. The tiny elf was so upset he didn't even realize I was sitting next to him. Granny looked out the window and continued her story. So we know the elf was blue, very blue. Hello there, little blue elf. Why are you crying? And what are you doing all alone out here at such a cold night? Oh, you wouldn't understand. Nobody can help me. I'm helpless, said the elf. Hopeless? Why would you say hopeless? Santa sent me on an errand and I got myself lost. I don't know where I am. You know Santa? The real Santa Claus? Of course I do. I'm Elfie, one of Santa's helpers. I make toys for children all around the world, and I used to be one of the best toy makers around. So Elfie is lost because he went out on an errand and got lost. Oh, Elfie, what do you mean you used to be one of the best toy makers? I can't do anything right. Everything I touch turns out to be a disaster. All the other elves laugh at me and tell me I'm a terrible toy maker. Oh, Elfie, let me help you. I know exactly how you feel. Ever since we moved here, I've been so unhappy. I don't have any friends, and I bet Santa Claus won't even know where to find me on Christmas Eve. Oh, yes, he does. Santa Claus knows everything, and I'd love to be your friend if you would like. Elfie, I would love to have you for a friend. Since we're friends and friends help each other, let me help you. If you take me to Santa's workshop, I'll help you make toys, and you'll be the best toy maker once again. Oh, so Granny's going to help out Elfie. Together, Elfie and I trudged through the snowdrift after snowdrift until we finally found a tiny village. It was in the middle of nowhere. Elves of all different colors were busy packing Santa's bag. They were scurrying here and they were scurrying there. And then I saw reindeer. They were so huge, and there seemed to be something magical about them. It was almost as if they understood every single word that was said. Granny continued with her story. So they walked through the snowdrifts until they found the village. One tiny elf saw Elfie and called out to the others, "Hey, look who's finally back! Hey, Elfie, did you lose your way again?" A group of elves surrounded Elfie and teased him about forgetting to put the wheels on the toy trains and putting soldiers' heads on the bodies of teddy bears. I couldn't stand to hear how mean those little elves were being to Elfie, and I yelled really, really loudly, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop teasing Elfie! He's very kind and sad little elf, and maybe you realize that you wouldn't be so cruel." Ooh, Granny was upset. Just then, Santa Claus appeared. "Ho, ho, ho! What do we have here? Elfie, why are you crying? Who is this little girl? You know I don't allow visitors here at Santa Land." "Hello. Hello, Santa. I'm Jessica. Please don't be angry with Elfie. I asked him to bring me here so I could help him." I motioned to Santa, asking him to bend down, and then I whispered something in his ear. "Ho, ho, ho, Jessica. I think you're right. I should have figured that out long ago." What did you whisper in his ear? "Granny, what did you tell him?" asked James. When Elfie and I were walking through the snowdrift, I noticed he couldn't read any of the road signs until he was right on top of them. He couldn't see them because he needed glasses. Santa Claus went over to the workbench and found a pair of glasses that were just perfect for Elfie. "Oh, Granny, you really met Elfie and Santa Claus? Were you ever lucky?" beamed James. I'll never forget that night. While singing a holiday jingle, the elves let me help them pack Santa's sleigh, and that very next thing I remembered, I was back at home. So Elfie couldn't see, and he needed glasses, and Santa got him some glasses. "But how'd you get home?" Rosie asked. "I don't remember. I guess Santa took me home," Granny proudly spoke. "Did you ever go back and visit Elfie and Santa Claus?" questioned James. "That's the funny thing. As many times as I tried, I never could find my way back to Santa Land. All I remember is finding a letter and a tape inside my Christmas stocking the next morning. In fact, I think that letter is hiding somewhere in my pocket. Granny pulled the crumpled, tattered piece of paper from his pocket and began reading. Dear Jessica, thank you for your help. The other elves and I will never forget you. I'm going to give you a copy of the song you sang with us on Christmas Eve. I'll always remember you. Love, Elfie. Elfie sent them a letter. Granny, do you still have the tape? We want to hear the song, Rosie and James begged. All right, if you go to bed right now, I'll hunt for the tape first thing in the morning and we'll listen to Elfie the Elf. Rosie and James snuggled up in their beds and fell fast asleep, hoping morning would just be a blink away. And that was Elfie the Elf. Today's STEAM activity is just fun. Take a selfie of your class and send it in. Just making elf faces, or hopefully you have some elf costumes on today. You may have taken it yesterday, but today's STEAM activity is just take a selfie of your class.